各位音乐产业的朋友，大家好，我是Taiwan Artists的主编 Brian。那很谢谢大家在今天下午来到这边，参加我们的这个艺人英文档案建制的工作坊哦。那我们Taiwan Artists是范克知识股份有限公司跟文化部影视及流行乐产业局合作的一个媒体，网络媒体。那我们在过去的几年当中，一直都是做一个把台湾的流行音乐往国外输出做推广的一个工作。那如果大家有上我们有官网有社群媒体，那你可以在上面看到一些就是我们所做的一些事情哦。那包括我们在官网上面有中文、英文、日文。那中文是for台湾的群众，主要是我们想要把一些国外的音乐产业知识告诉大家。那英文、日文的部分就是主要是对国外的一些乐迷，我们把台湾的流行音乐以外文的方式来呈现，来跟他们介绍这样子的。那在媒体之外，其实我们有做很多的工作，就是我们其实跟一般的音乐媒体蛮不一样。不管你们知道音乐媒体像是 Billboard 那种最大的 Rolling Stone， 或者是台湾的可能像是Blow 吹音乐或是乐手潮，我们做事情不一样，因为我们的目的其实并不是我们不是商业的媒体哦，所以我们是要来推广。那推广上面其实有很多事情是我们在做报道之外，还要帮大家做的。比方说，其实我们有一部分有点像是帮大家做一个公关中心，因为大家可能在国外其实是没有，就是说你要去国外发展的话，你在国外是没有任何的窗口，你不知道找谁，你不知道要用什么样的策略去执行。那我们在这方面其实累积了蛮多的经验哦，所以我们会透过各种方式来协助大家这样子。那比方说今天的工作坊，或是之后如果各位在国际上面的推广或者是宣传上面有任何的需求的话，也可以来找我们来讨论。那当然我们的服务就是因为我们等于是有点像是半个公家单位这种感觉，所以我们都是免费来服务大家这样，所以有任何需求都可以来跟我们联络。那也是在过去的这些经验当中，我们就发现说，其实台湾的音乐产业对于怎么样发展到国外，其实是蛮不了解的。因为我本人在过去其实是做欧美独立音乐的在台湾的代理，所以我看过很多外国的一些艺人的资料，那其实跟我们台湾的一些习惯非常的不一样哦。那如果我们把台湾的这些做法带到国外去，其实就是可能会造成蛮多的困扰，或者是会让他们觉得，其实他看不懂大家在写什么样的东西哦，所以才会有今天这样的一个工作坊的诞生这样子哦。那我这边在开始之前先提醒大家一下，就是我们这个工作坊等一下大概会到快6点的时候，那中间大概在3点45分的时候会有一个中场休息，大概15分钟，4点的时候会是第二个段落这样子。那中间如果大家想要上厕所啊，或者说听得有点昏昏欲睡，外面也有那个饮料还有零食可以取用，只要去上厕所。那如果大家在那个语言上面，因为等一下大部分都是用英文来授课，说在英文方面如果有需要的话，我们外面有口译机可以做同步的口译这样子哦。那今天很高兴可以请到的讲师哦，那他本人是在加拿大做一个算是一个 showcase 的一个音乐节的节目制作统筹，然后很高兴在这疫情期间，就是大家都没办法自由飞来飞去的时候，那他人其实就在台湾。然后因为他工作的关系，所以他看过很多的这些艺人资料，所以我相信请他来为大家来介绍这样的一个主题，应该是非常适合的哦。那接下来时间我是不是就交给我们今天的讲师 Evan Murray， 谢谢。
Ni hao. And that's all the Chinese I know, actually. Sorry. Thank you, Brian. Thank you to Taiwan Beats for having me here. And nice to see everybody. So today we're going to talk about the international market and PR materials workshop. So we're going to talk about the items you're going to need to have a career overseas. And so I'm going to do what I like to do best first. I'm going to talk about myself. That's a joke. Okay, so My music career started out in Canada. So I was, how far back do I want to go here? I'll go pretty far back, I guess. I started out in my school, we had to take band class, right? So I was forced into music, and what happened is that I ended up playing the drums. So my parents bought me a drum set. I played in the garage every day, all day, drove everyone crazy, and it became my passion. It became my life. What ended up happening is that in time, I wanted to pursue it as a career. So I actually left. I was in university and I left school to start touring when I was 19. Touring at 19 years old, I toured until I was probably about 25, and that was drumming throughout North America. I quit that because I was in lots of bad habits. And what I ended up doing was I went back to work. After that working period, I said, I can't, now that I've experienced life on the road, I can't live normal anymore. I have to play music. So what ended up happening is I was writing a lot of songs, I was playing guitar and stuff like that. So I started up my own band again. I started playing again, and that's when I started getting big shows. So now I was playing in front of 3,000, 5,000 people in Canada, and then I started touring in Europe. Okay, so I started out in Portugal, France, Denmark, and which led me to Sweden. Is this in and out? Okay, so is that better? All right. So through all of this, my experience, I toured in Europe. I toured in Europe 3 times throughout different countries, and what ended up happening was I created a network. So I created an international network, but I didn't know I was doing these things. I was chasing a dream, playing music, traveling, experiencing my life, being passionate. But what I was doing in the meantime is that I was meeting so many people in the world, music managers, music agents, other musicians, other bands. I was actually creating myself an entire business but I didn't think that way. So what ended up happening was, after Europe, I had an Eastern Europe tour coming up, and the promoter, it fell apart. The promoter didn't have our equipment, all these things. I was going to land in Warsaw. I was leaving from Vancouver to Warsaw, Poland, the next day, and I was touring 3 Eastern European countries. The whole tour fell apart the day before I left. So it's important to know that no matter how successful you can become in the music industry, there's always, it's an exciting business because it is a risky business. And I think that's what makes it so exciting, is because we're playing the odds against ourselves. With that crash of that tour, there was media about it. So when that tour got canceled in Eastern Europe, all of this media came out about the tour being canceled, and somehow it reached these people in India. And the next day I got contacted by a company, and they said, hey, you toured Europe lots, like you tour in Canada, we want to know about what you're doing, we want to know the people you know, and we can offer you things in return. So I was like, I'm very interested. I have no idea about India, I have no idea anything. I mean, Google, oh wow, okay, it's a big country. But that started my life in India, was the fact that I had done this touring in Europe. And because this tour had crashed, now maybe if the tour was successful in Eastern Europe, maybe it would have been India and more people. But because it crashed and the media came out, is that the people in India got a hold of me because of it. Because they had done research on the things I had done before. So what I want to tell you is that everything you do matters, okay? Everything you do matters. Everyone you know, everyone you reach out to, every relationship you have, it matters. Because people are connected. And I mean, I was doing this stuff before, I didn't even know what social media was. I mean, I knew, but like when I was touring, when I was a young guy, like I'm 43 years old. So like I'm an old man, I'm an old man now, but when I was young, there was no social media. So the whole comprehensive value of what a network was didn't really exist yet, right? I mean, maybe if you're in marketing, you know these things. Maybe if you're selling insurance, you know these things. But as a young musician, I had no idea. So throughout these roads and throughout meeting different people in different countries, I ended up in India, and it was a massive company. I did massive festivals. I was on TV shows, magazines, I lived the dream, basically. And what ended up happening was I became like a part of their family. So now I go to India all the time. I talk about producing television show. I'm managing huge artists with them. I'm in the game. Now, through all of these things I did, from going to Europe and being around Canada and the United States and all these places, what ended up happening is that I met some people where my father was from. So my father was from a small little island on the east coast of Canada. And my band at the time was called Marystown, which was the town he was from. So my band name was in homage of my father because he had passed away, and that's where we buried him, was in the town of Marystown. And the people there asked me to come and play there because they had seen that I was traveling around the world and I was being successful. So I went there and I met some people there that had an interest to build their travel tourism sector. And it just so happened that I had friends all over the world. So we met with the government and we talked to the government about the fact that I had all these music contacts all over the world with management and labels and agencies and these things. And the government saw the value in it. So what ended up happening is that I became the head coordinator of a showcase conference, and now I was making more money than the teacher that told me I'd never be anything. So, so yeah, life is strange, but life happens when we chase it, right? And when we're chasing it, we have to see what the goal is. Even if it's not clear at first, we have to see it. So anyways, that's the philosophy and that's the story behind it. But in hindsight of all that, so this is the story. You have the sheets there. So yeah, so my Canada-Sweden connection is that I had a big network in Sweden, and I ended up meeting a guy that ran a showcase conference in Sweden called Live at Heart, and we flew him into Canada to talk to the government people as well. So we became the sister company of that. So that's Live at Heart, Newfoundland. Okay. So Taiwan has been my home on and off for the past almost 2.5 years. And that has to, so I've been integrating, like meeting guys like Brian. I had the people from the Golden Melody Awards. I flew them to my conference in 2018. And again, like, I had never heard of Taiwan before. You know, it was 2018. I was like, oh yeah, you know what? These guys look interesting. That's a huge award show. Let's fly them to Canada, right? Let's find out about them, right? So that kind of curiosity, that kind of open-minded thing, to keep your spirit open and to keep opportunities open. I met them and I became great friends with them. And then I met my wife. And that's a whole other story. But what I'm trying to tell you is that the people that you get to meet in your life are important because they're going to know other people. And my oldest brother said something to me that has stuck with me all the time. He said to me 2 things. One thing he said is, always be kind to strangers because you never know who you're talking to. That has been such a valuable lesson in my life, is to just always be kind to people when I'm meeting them, because it is true. You know, and the strangest, you will meet the strangest people in the strangest places that could be such benefit to your life. And you can become such benefit to their life as well. And that's very important in the networking game, is that you show as much promise to somebody that you want out of them. Okay, that's so important. I cannot express that enough, is that if we're going to talk a little bit about the psychology and the philosophy about networking, is that be of value. You know, if it's being valuable by being kind, if it's being valuable by offering services, but be valuable. If you want something from somebody, be valuable. I think that's really important. So, in East Asia as well. So, now what I do, I run the conference in Canada, and what I have to do is I have to go through submissions. So, we go for a call for artists, and hundreds, thousands of artists apply. And then what happens is I have to go through all the EPKs. I have to go through all the information, I have to do the selection process, and then I have to choose the delegates, where I'll fly them in from around the world in order to offer the people coming the best opportunities. Okay, so my job with India now is that I'm basically working as an international consultant. So I'm introducing the world now to India. So how India was a stranger to me years ago, I realize now India is a stranger to a lot of people. And now it's my job to introduce India to the rest of the world. And I feel very fortunate to do that because it is the biggest market on earth for social media. And we'll talk about that later, because when we talk about ROIs in a business, okay, because what you're doing, your music is a music business. Don't ever forget that. Like, you're not here to you're here to be a star. Yeah, you're here to fulfill your dreams and to do something for your ego. But you have to pay your bills, and you have to eat, and you have to make mom and dad proud, and grandma and grandpa, and the only way you do that is by making money, okay? And one of the best ways to make money in the music industry nowadays is online, especially now because of the COVID crisis. So I want to give a shout out to Wonderwall Media. They're based out of Kerala, India, which is in the south. And I'm learning so much about how the music marketplace works now because of the massive artists that they manage. And I see the numbers that they're building and building and building. It's insane. But what it is, it's a marketplace, right? So with Wonderwall Media, we've done things with Coca now. Like I've done collaborations with SBS Media in Korea. It's a gigantic media company. They put on Asia Song Festival, which is like based on K-pop. K-pop's all over the world, and we connected them with India. So let me tell you something. If BTS and the biggest music industry in the world, now I'm not a pop fan, let's say, but if BTS and the biggest music industry in the world is interested in India, it must be interesting, right? That's what it tells me. So we'll talk more about that coming up. That's the information on it. That's the information on India. You can see there. Okay, and yeah, so all over. So now what I do is like I get paid to be a gypsy. You know, like I won the prize, right? Like I put in the work, I put in the years of playing, I did these things, and I met lots of people, and I was a nice guy, and you know, and these things happened for me, so now I make a salary for traveling the world, and I'm like, what? Like, yeah, okay, yeah, like I couldn't have created a better job, you know? So this is what I'm saying, is that if you live honestly to your passion, if you live honestly to your passion, something is going to come in your way. And then something else is going to come in your way. And these things are going to happen, and they're just going to happen over and over again. And one day you're just going to find yourself somewhere, and that's where you'll be, right? Okay, so let's get to business. How's that? What's my time like for the, am I good for the definition here? All right, I'm doing good, man. All right. It's nice to see all you people, by the way. Thank you for showing up. It's wow, the room is full, and feeling good. It's not. I see some familiar faces here, which is always nice. All right. So we're going to talk about definition, application of biography. We're going to talk about your press releases, and we're going to talk about your electronic press kit. Okay. So the thing is that I have an order of things to do here. And we're going to talk about guidelines of writing the marketing materials afterwards, but I'm kind of going to amalgamate this because I want to talk to you about how important these things really are, okay? I cannot tell you how important these things really are. This is the definitive things of your music career, because what you're doing is you're branding yourself, okay? You're advertising yourself. You're giving yourself to somebody else without you being there, okay? So we have to make sure that the information is very accurate. We have to make sure that information is definitive. We have to make sure that information is not something whimsical or strange or creative. We have to be very precise about what we're talking about when we want people to understand who we are, okay? So as artists, we create, right? We create music, we paint pictures, we take photographs, we do all these things creatively. But what I need to really get across to you that's very important is that your biography, your marketing materials are not the things you want to be creative about, okay? Now that might sound weird, but I'm going to tell you again. These things need to be precise. They need to be definitive. They need to explain who you are, okay? So when we look at the biography, let's look at the biography first, okay? So you can turn to the page where it says biography. And, oh, that's great. Did I do that? Yeah, I must have. Okay. That's good. All right. So what we're going to talk about when we talk about biography is this is not in order, okay? So I didn't put numbers beside it, which drove my wife crazy. She's like, this is not how you make a presentation. But I'm like, it's okay. Sorry, that's another joke. Okay, never mind. So these are not numbered on purpose because you can do these things in any order, okay? But this is what you need. These are the elements of a biography that you need to have. And I'm telling you this straight up. I'm telling you as a person who books festivals, a person who books acts around the world, and a person who books a showcase conference, you need these items in your biography, okay? Because when I read about you, I need to know, who are you? Who are you? So now let's be very precise again. This doesn't run on for, I don't want who are you, takes me 10 minutes to read about who you are, right? Not like I did, right? Like I sat here like I am and I went on for 10 minutes. I don't want to hear that because I'm just wanting to know about your music. I want to know about your business. So who are you? Basically, who is your band? Okay? What's the title of your band? How many people are in your band? Are you a solo artist? Is there 2 people? Is there 4 people? How many people am I expecting to work with? It's very important for someone who's booking artists to know that. They have to know how many people they're going to be working with, okay? Where are you from? Another very, very important piece of information. Because we want to know, if someone is coming to me from, say, Russia or Taiwan to say in Canada, I need to know these things because why? That leads to a whole other segment that I'll get to, but this information is important that the booker can fill in the information, okay? What do you sound like? And what is your genre? So what do you sound like is not like, we sound like a can hitting a piece of wood and a dove flying through a cloud and a sheep fart. Don't be artistic about your description, okay? Be definitive. be precise. So, you know, we sound like Soundgarden, or like we sound like this band mixed with this band, okay? And if you're gonna talk about local artists instead of global artists, put that information in. Let the person reading it know that your band that you're comparing to is from your own country or your own personal taste. But so there's a research, okay? So that's definitive information, okay? So that what do you sound like is not a more metaphorical question. It is not a art project. It needs a definitive answer.
You know, that's one of the biggest mistake I've ever had, because I never thought about it. That would be so important. So decades ago, we had a garage band, you know, online. So every time when I answer the question, because I want to be unique, so I always write me, myself. I didn't know there was a mistake because nobody would know who I am, and nobody would know how I sound.
Exactly. So what he's saying is that, reiterating what I'm saying, is that like you can't be mystical. Like you're not a wizard, okay? Like you're not trying to paint this Michelangelo painting. You know, this is your business profile. So this isn't for your fans. When you're creating your biography and your electronic press kit and your marketing materials, this is not for your fans, okay? This is for business people, okay? So your fans, like, you can admit these things or get your manager to admit these things. Like, you know, like, I don't care what kind of tea you drink. I don't care what kind of puppy dogs you like. Like, I don't care about any of that stuff. I want to know about your music business, okay? Why are you playing music? Why? Now again, like, these aren't stories, okay? These items listed here are not in any particular order. You can write the thing as you want, but each item is not a whole story. These are very simple items. Who are you? Like, yeah, we're these guys from Canada. We're super cool. You know, like, how many people are in a band? Yeah, there's 4 of us. You know, there's a guitar, rhythm guitar, lead guitar, bass player, drummer. Where are you from? Oh, we're from the middle of nowhere in Canada. You know, we're going for the dream. You know, what do you sound like? You know, we sound like a mix between Metallica and Soundgarden. We'll rip your face off. You know, why are you playing music? Because I love it. Music has always been my passion. Or, you know, my grandmother used to play piano and I used to fall asleep. Whatever. That's the part where you can get personal. Okay, that's your little opportunity to say, hey, I'm a person, and this is why I love what I do. Right? What have you done? This is a very important question, and this is very, very important how you answer this. Because I'm going to go back to the topic that I started saying at first when you're networking with people. Everything you do matters, okay? Everything you do matters. So when we talk about what have you done, is that in your biography, we want to just capture the most important things, okay? So this is not about like, well, I had a ham sandwich today, you know, or, you know, this one time me and my family went to visit Italy. It was so great. No, I don't care about that part. I care about, like, did you win a Golden Melody Award? Did you win a Golden Indie Award? Did you meet the President of the United States? Did you get into a magazine? Did you hit 1 million streams on a song? You know, so you take the things of value, okay? So all the things you do is valuable. Now you select the most valuable things, okay? With all these items, you select the most valuable things. Who are you? What's the most valuable thing about you? Who are you? How many people are in your band? That's numbers. Where are you from? Again, you know, you can give a little description. Like where I'm from, where we have Live at Heart, Newfoundland, I can say, we're on an island called Newfoundland. We're on a peninsula called the Burin Peninsula. We operate between 4 towns, Marystown, Grand Bank, Burin, and Fortune. and we're 45-minute boat ride from France. So if this is my biography, that's how I would just present it to you, okay? You kind of want to do the same thing, just short descriptions, and you want to take the most valuable information of those descriptions, okay? And what is your goal? You know, like, so a lot of us that, when I was a young guy, when we were playing rock and roll, like we wanted to get girls and we wanted to get drunk and we wanted to, you know, like that as ridiculous as that sounds, is we were young guys, that's what we wanted, right? But growing up, that changes, right? So again, this is not about getting your fans. So this isn't about, I want to get all the chicks and I want to do all this stuff. No, this is business, okay? So save the art stuff, save the cool guy stuff, save the image for the fans. When we're making the biography, when we're making the EPK, we're business, okay? We're selling ourselves as a business. And you have to think of yourself that way. You have to think of yourself as that I have a music business, okay? Because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to make a living by creating your art, by living your dream. And you want to make money, okay? So it's the end game. Just like somebody wants to be a doctor, someone wants to be a lawyer, someone wants to be a teacher. You want to be a musician, you want to be a manager, you want to be a booker, and you want to make money. So act like it, right? What is your goal? I want to tour. I want to tour the world. You know, I want to tour in the USA. I want to tour in Canada. I want to see what Mumbai is like. I want to visit Taipei. We want international marketplaces. We want to develop ourselves in the international marketplaces. Make it make sense, okay? Make sense to people. Like, you want to make money, you want to do business, then tell people what they need to hear. It's really that simple. Tell them what they need to hear, okay? Because this is your plight. This is your struggle against the world, okay? Tell people what they need to hear. Be sincere, but tell people what they need to hear. So, let's talk about, now, these things, again, everything I'm going to highlight here today in this talk is incredibly important. It is incredibly important for you to develop and for you to have business association, okay? I want to improve your business sense in the music industry. I want you to be able to focus. I want you to be able to simplify these things. And I want to make it easy for you in order to talk business with people in an artistic marketplace, okay? So let's always remember that the artist and the art stays for the fans. It stays for the image. And business has to be kept separate from that, okay? So we're not ever trying to be metaphorical, or we're never trying to be artsy with business people. We have to be direct. We have to give them straight, important information, okay? We're not painting pictures here, right? We're trying to do business. Okay, so keep your digital presence organized. I cannot tell you how important this is, okay, that you stay organized. This is your domain, all right? Your domain, like this is the representation of who you are, all right? Organize it well. Link your contact information, pictures, social media, streaming sites, interviews, videos, your store, that's where you sell your items. Your blogs, maybe you like to blog, maybe you're a vlogger, you know, maybe you like to write about the places you've been, maybe you like to talk about the places you've been. Be creative, but please be organized, okay? So this is for your website, all right? So we're talking about your website. So the website is your domain for information. So this is not your EPK, this is your website. So this is Now, a website can function as an electronic press kit. So there's some gray area here. So gray area kind of means that the rules aren't stringent, okay? They're not like super strict. Like your website can be an electronic press kit, but it's not, okay? So your website is for business people, and your website is also for your fans. So you want to be creative. You want to show how cool of a guy you are. You want to show how many or girl you are. You know, you want to, if you're a girl, yeah, sorry. You want to show your image. You know, you want to boost it, right? You want to portray yourself a certain way. But you have to be organized because it's not just fans going on there. So people sometimes will visit your website to do a number of things. One of the things they're going to visit your website for is to spend money. Okay? They're going to visit your website to spend money. So why are you going to confuse anybody that wants to give you money, right? You want to have things out in the open, like buy our merch or buy our stuff. You know what I mean? Here's our stuff. Stuff. Okay. But be organized. So your pictures, everything that you have in a website, keep it in order, okay? So websites are made up of things like your contact information is so important. How many times have I gone to like links on YouTube or links on a Facebook page or links anywhere and the contact information isn't there? People need to know how to get a hold of you. Like, they need to know like, oh, this is so great. How do I get a hold of this guy? I have no idea. It's so important. So many people have lost opportunities in their life simply because on their social media pages or on their website, they don't have the contact. Like, I'm serious, right? Your pictures, okay. So on your website, you know, your website is a creative space. So I don't want to confuse that. Like your EPK is your business, right? Your EPK is your electronic press kit. That's going to be the business aspect. Your website can be a creative space. So, you know, your paintings can go up on there. Your artistic things can go up on there. Just keep them in a section, right? Keep them in, you know, you want things itemized. Have your social media links, right? Like you can put up the items or what do they call it? The thumbnails of like, you know, the Facebook icon, Instagram icon, YouTube icon, Bandcamp icon, you know, these kind of things. So make sure that's very clear as well, right? And on each of those places, on your Facebook, on your YouTube, on all these places, have your contact information. Okay? Promise me, you'll have your contact information on all your social sites. Okay? Crazy important. Crazy, crazy important. Your interviews, right? So maybe you did press interviews, maybe you did a vlog interview. You know, maybe you were interviewing people, right? And you were talking about the music industry or these kind of things. This is content. So your website is your domain for content. That's what we're talking about here. This is like all of your features, right? So your pictures and your links and your interviews, your videos, okay? So embed your videos. Now I'm gonna give you a secret, all right? I'm gonna tell you something very important. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. YouTube. Live videos. Most of the biggest bookers I know in the world that book the biggest festivals in the world, they're not looking at your Spotify. They're not looking at your Facebook. They're not looking at your Instagram. They're not looking at your numbers. Some of them are. You know, don't get me wrong, some of them are. They want to see your YouTube live videos. They want to see your live performance. So make it good. You want to start a business, put some money into it, okay? So you can't have a pizza shop if you don't buy the dough and the cheese and the sauce to sell pizza, right? Just like you can't have a music career if you don't pay money to build these materials. So what I'm going to tell you again is that most of the biggest bookers in the world, most of the bookers in the world are looking at your YouTube, and they're looking for live video. So maybe some of them are going to go into like Spotify to hear what you're doing, or they're going to like Bandcamp, or they'll go to SoundCloud. They're gonna. Another thing is like, don't fake your numbers either. Okay, it's a bad idea. I'm gonna get into that later. Like when I was a kid, not a kid, but like I guess halfway through my music career, yeah, it might have been it was kind of like a marketing idea that we would bluff so many of our numbers, right? We get them farm clicked. And what we do is, because we try to boost that we're way bigger than we actually are. Which nowadays is, I'm gonna tell you, it's completely counterproductive. Because you can make your money, you can make your living on the internet now. So while you're traveling and you're touring, is that you can make your living from your monetization. And if you screw with those numbers, if you mess with those numbers, if you fake those numbers, you're not going to be able to make the money off of them, okay? Because there's algorithms on there that you cannot monetize farm clicks. So the thing is, like, you have to weigh that out, right? So when you're in the marketing game, you got to weigh that out. We're going to cross that bridge too. I'm going to talk a lot about that later. But the industry has come down to the point now where this industry is about honesty. And that might sound very strange, because art is the manipulation of life. As an artist, is that you're manipulating life, right? Like you're manipulating emotions, you're manipulating reality. That's what you're doing. You're transmitting a manipulation of the way you think and you feel, okay, to other people, that they'll connect with that, right? But the thing is that the industry itself has become a very honest place. They want to see you play live. You can't fake that. Like, yeah, you can have backing tracks, sure you can, which I suggest you do. Because any good concert has backing tracks, let me tell you that right now. But the other thing is that you can't fake who you are anymore, okay? Technology has gotten in such a way, and it's going this way, that people are going to love you for what you're presenting, or they're not. And if they don't, that's your indication to reinvent yourself, okay? Because it never ends. Like I said, you hit a thing, you go again, you hit something else, you hit something else. There's just no end. It just evolves. You just keep evolving, okay? So we're going to talk more about these kind of idealistic things, but I need you to know that the industry is an honest place now, okay? And your YouTube Live, put some money into it. Like, hire some good camera guys. Get a good sound engineer. Like, put some effort into it, make it something you're proud of. Make it something that if your friends saw it, they'd be like, wow, that kicks ass. Oh, sorry. Wow, that's great. So you want to turn on your microphone.
Yeah, well, there's another one you can use in front of you.
Yeah. Hello? 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 Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Allison. Allison's been such a great help. I just want to give her a round of applause, please. You're next, Brian. Okay, so where are we? All right. So be organized. Please be organized. So I trailed on some things there, right? I talked about YouTube video, about the booking aspect. I talked about monetization a bit. I touched on some subject, but be organized. Make sure your website is organized, all right? It's so important. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The electronic press kit. All right, so I'm going to read my little spiel here, and then I'll talk about it, all right? All right, so make it worthy. This is your story. This is your branding. This is the accumulation of what you are. Stylize and customize it. This is where we see who you are, what you look like, what you've done, and what you sound like. This is your identity. This is a condensed version of a website. You can have this in print on a website for download, like, you know, a PDF kind of thing. In a PDF, oh, I already said that, and or a video presentation. Okay, so I'm gonna actually show you later on what I'm doing with a band. It's called a VPK, which is a video press kit. I'm working with a band in Canada, and I got them to create one of these. Now, I'm not telling you to go home and make one of these because it's not a lot of people are doing it, but I'm going to tell you that you can, and it's very presentable. Okay, we'll get to that another time, or we're going to get that later on. And this is the second most important thing you have besides your stage show. Spare no expense. Okay, so the EPK, the electronic press kit, is the second most important thing in your music career. Your first most important thing in your music career is your live performance. So, like, be a professional, right? We want to make money, we're in a business, be professional. That's your live show. The second most important thing is your electronic press kit. This is what I'm talking about earlier, is that this is your business, all right? So this is not where we get creative. This is not your website. You know, this is not for your fans. This is for people who you're going to talk about making money, okay? This is for people who are going to book you. This is for people that you're going to negotiate money with. That's your electronic press kit. So let's touch on the aspects of it, okay? So your picture needs to be very regular on your EPK. Now, you can have it customized, don't get me wrong, it can be in color or it can be artistic, but I need to see your faces. I need to see who's in the band on your electronic press kit. So, you know, with all your other photos that are like, you know, I need to see your face. I need to see who you are for your electronic press kit, okay? This is not your, like, again, this isn't, you know, party time or artistic time. This is like really simple, high resolution photos, okay? So the booker can look at it, identify, oh, wow, this band has 3 girls and 1 guy, and oh, they look roughly around this age, and okay, cool. Okay, so on your EPK, your high resolution picture has to be very, you have to show your faces. They have to be able to see your face, okay? That's very important. So where am I looking? Okay, so this is where you're going to have your biography as well. So we talked about what a biography is, all right? So on your website, your biography can be 1,000 pages. Like, I don't care, because I don't think anybody's going to care. You know, so let's just understand that. You know, you can make a book. You can write your own book on your website. I don't care what you do. But on your EPK, we need to have condensed information. All right? And that's where you go back to the page on the points there that I made. We want that information condensed, and we want to know definitively those answers. Because nobody cares what kind of toast you like or what you like on your toast, and nobody cares about your dog, and you know, like, nobody cares about, you know, what kind of underwear you wear on Sunday. Like, it just doesn't matter. What matters is you answer those questions in any way you want, okay? And that's for the biography. So your biography is going to be on your EPK. It's very important. So crazy important. Have the photo, high resolution. We can see your face. Have your biography, okay? And even if you can have a condensed version of your biography, that's very important. You want to have hyperlinks. All right? So hyperlinks are amazing for an EPK. So you there's a picture in your EPK, or it says, you know, check out our new single. And then the booker can just click on it. And then wham, brings them up to YouTube, and there it is, your new single. That's very useful, okay? You want to make the people you do business with, you want to make their life easy, right? Because you want their money. You want their money, so make their life easy. Okay. So the elements of the EPK are incredibly important. Contact information. Who are we contacting? Who? Right? Am I contacting your manager? Am I contacting your mother? Am I contacting your girlfriend? Like, who am I talking to about your band? Okay, and again, your electronic press kit, I'll say it again. Your electronic press kit is the second most important thing you have. Okay? Your live performance is number one. Your EPK, electronic press kit, is number two. Okay? EPK is not for your fans. EPK is for business. Okay? Now, when we talk about the electronic press kit, we talk about the website. There's another thing that came across when I was touring in Europe. This actually started, is people started asking me for a one-page. Okay, so this is much like an EPK, but an EPK can kind of be extensive, right? Like an EPK has a lot of content where it can be several pages. When we call this a one-pager, we literally mean this is one page. So we need to condense all of this information. We have to have a high-resolution photo. We have to condense the biography. And we have to have links of our new single, or we have to have links of our new album release, or these kind of things, okay? But this happens on a one page. So an EPK can be several pages. A one page is only one page. Okay, let me repeat that very clearly. A one page is one page. All right. I see you're following me, that's great. Okay, so we want to condense the biography even more. We want to take that information and condense it even further, right? So we just keep making, it's like editing. I don't know if any of you are, if you've ever done any editing or you know anyone who's an editor, but what they do is they take information and they just keep, or if you bake a cake, or if you make sauces and these kind of things, is that you keep reducing, because you're making it more, you're strengthening it. Okay, you're taking out all the filler, you're taking out all the extra things, and what's becoming very presentable are just the strongest parts. Okay, so an EPK on your biography on your EPK, man, it could even be bullet points. Like, we've done these cool things, like this is our, we won this award, and we toured in this place, and we know this guy, and this guy knows this guy, and hey, book our band, and then, that kind of thing. Like, you don't have to write your book, right? Like, you just need to hit your points. So, one page again is like the EPK. You need that photo, okay? You need that clarity. We're always going to talk about clarity when we're talking about business people, okay? When we're talking about doing business, we're always going to talk about being clear, being simple. All right? Not being complicated and artistic and manipulative and strange. We're going to talk about being simple, because we want people to just understand what we're trying to give them. And we want them to understand it in a way that is not difficult for them. Okay? Very little effort for them to understand what we want. Are you following me so far? Is this all kind of making sense? All right? Because if it isn't, you're in trouble. All right, so now we're going to talk about the elements of an EPK. And again, so look at this. It appears right here what we're trying to do. So a short biography. Focus your information on the place you want to be. Focus your information on the place you want to be. If you're going to be touring in Japan, if you want to tour in Japan, guide your EPK about Japan, okay? Make it more Japanese than it would be. If you want to tour in the United States, make it more American-centric, okay? Because EPKs, you can make a list of them. All right, you can make a bunch of these things. Like this is my EPK for the United States. This is my EPK for the Western United States. This is my EPK for New York. This is my EPK for going to see Evan in Newfoundland, okay? We want to be specific, all right? I just put the effort in, all right? Put the effort in. It'll pay off for you, I promise. Put the effort in. Be organized. Be organized, okay? Focus your information on the places you want to be. Don't forget that. Please keep that in mind. It just makes it easier for the people you're working with. We want to take away any questions that they're going to have. We don't want them to have questions. We want them to have information about what we want. High resolution picture, I'm going to beat it into you. Okay, all day long, beat it into you. It needs to be clear. I need to see your face. I need to see who you are. I don't want Michelangelo painting. I don't want pictures of your dog, all right? I mean, I'm sure your cat's lovely, but I don't care. I want clear pictures of your face, people in the band. Links to your streaming site, okay? International sites are essential. Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music. It's okay to have local sites like KKBox or Street Voice, but not necessary, okay? If you send your KKBox or if you send your Street Voice to somebody in the United States who's never been to Taiwan, or you send it to somebody in Singapore that's never been to Taiwan, or someone that's in Australia, they're not going to know what the hell it is, okay? Because that's a regional thing. Of course they're going to click on it, they'll be able to identify, but they're not going to be able to understand the value of it, okay? They're going to know the value of Spotify because Spotify is global. They're going to know the value of YouTube because YouTube is global. They're going to understand how the measurement works. You against somebody else. You against somebody else, okay? But if you send them KKBox or you send them, again, Street Voice or these kind of things, if you send them local items, they're not going to understand the value. They might, but they might not. Okay, so again, we always want to make things simple for the people we want to do business with. We always want to make things simple for the people we want to do business with. Okay? Significant accomplishments. All right? Hits on the radio. You know, did you get on the radio? I know radio is really not relevant now, but it's still an item, okay? If you got interviewed by a famous DJ, if you got interviewed by a famous newspaper, it matters, okay? Yeah, we did a segment on KHZ 99.7 in Taichung, you know. Oh, great, cool, you're on the radio, okay, great, right? Did you win any awards? And whatever mom's cookies doesn't count. It matters, industry, okay? Business awards. What kind of major opportunities did you have? What kind of major opportunities have you had? Okay, who has offered you things? Who have you talked to? Who do you know? You know, like, did you get an offer to play at South by Southwest? Did you get an offer to play at Bangkok Music City? Did you get an offer to play at Luckfest? Did you know, what kind of things have you done, all right? So again, just to the point, all right? Grants. Now, you live in a country much like Canada and much like in Europe where the government is very, very supportive of what you're doing. And, you know, I need you to know how thankful you need to be, because if you live in the United States, like, forget it. If you live in India, forget it, right? I mean, yeah, the government can do certain things, but not like Taiwan, not like Canada, you know, and not like the EU, not like in the European Union. Like, we're very, very fortunate that we can have grants. And the thing is that as a professional, because I consider myself a professional, all jokes aside, is that if I see that you've been awarded government money, then I know that you're running your business properly. That's what that says to me, okay? As a person who gets government funding to run an organization myself, if I see that you've been funded by the government, I know someone is working with you that knows what they're doing. That's what that tells me, okay? So that's another thing I want to talk about very briefly, is that the information you share tells a story in itself, okay? This is why you don't need to write a big story about your biography and about your dogs and about your mom and about, going to Italy and stuff. Like, that's why you don't need to do this, because the information that you submit that's pertinent information that's pointing at something, tells a story itself, okay? So when you tell me that you got a hit on the radio, when you tell me that you toured in Sweden, when you tell me that you got funded to go and do something, these are all things that create a story in my mind. And I know that you know, or somebody that you know, knows what they're doing. Okay? All right. How are we doing for time? I have no idea. If I've been up here for an hour and a half already? Oh, wow, I have. Okay. Well, look at me. I can just talk away forever. All right. Guidelines for writing marketing materials. All right. So you are attempting to sell your music business in multiple ways to regional and international music professionals. Make sure your digital marketing is organized. Make sure it's up to date. Okay? Like, if you give me check out our new release, and it's like, I click on it, it's like 2018, I'm going to be thinking that you're not paying attention to what you're doing. Right? Remember, your information, all those bits of information, there's a story inside of all your information. Keep your materials organized. When you're organized, it tells me you care about what you're doing. When the information you give me tells me that people behind you or you are organized in what you're doing, okay? So make sure your digital marketing is organized. Be organized. It's your number one, anything you're gonna do in your life successfully, you're gonna be organized. And you know what, it's just the fact that I'm standing here talking about it. I'm not exactly the most organized person at all. Actually, I'm terrible. But the thing is I have a great team. Okay, so I have a board of directors, gentlemen that are very, very interested in their hometown, very interested in developing their area internationally, and they've given me the opportunity to represent them. So I'm very fortunate that I have a team. Okay? That's another thing I'm going to talk to you guys about too, is team building. You need a team in order to be successful. Let me rephrase that. You should have a team in order to be successful. Focus your energy on where you want to be and who you want to impress. Okay? Where do you want to be? You want to be at Summerfest in the United States of America, the biggest festival in the world, in Milwaukee. Okay? Milwaukee, Wisconsin, USA. That's where you want to be. All right? That's where I want to be. That's where we want to rock and roll. We want to play in front of 7,000 people on the beginning stage. But if I want to be there, I have to organize my material in such a way that the guy I'm going to send it to understands that. Okay? That he understands that's where I want to be. That's what I want to do by using the materials that I'm talking about today. All right? So, again, where do you want to be and who do you want to impress? You want to impress the booker. How do you impress the booker? Be organized. Be organized. Have your information definitive. Right? These are things I'm just going to keep repeating and repeating over and over again because they're just that important, all right? Understand your own unique angle and make this very easy for people to interpret. Again, making it easy for the booker to understand who you are. Make it easy. Make it like, this is who I am. You know, do you want to work with me? Yes or no, right? It's that simple. The booker is not your fan. You're not trying to manipulate the booker. Well, you are, but but you ain't trying to be on top of him. You're trying to level with him because he's on top of you until you get on his stage, right? So you want to impress him by being organized, by having the proper information and letting him know very simply who you are, all right? Your unique angle. What makes you special? So in a world of 1 million pizzas, why am I going to eat yours? Why? Do you know? Do you know what makes your music special? Do you know what makes you special? Do you know? Can you tell me in one sentence? Can you tell me in a few words what makes you more special than the person sitting next to you? Because you need to know that. All right? You need to understand who you are amongst all the flowers. Okay? Why are you a special flower in this garden of special flowers? Why do I want to eat your pizza when I can eat anybody's pizza? Sorry, I like food, I like flowers. but very seriously, very, very seriously, okay? What makes you special? Why am I going to book you? Why am I going to care about you? Why am I going to click on your links? Narrow that down to one sentence, and you're dealing with success. If you can narrow that down to one sentence, you're in a good place, okay? Again, save the mystery for your artistic expression. I don't want your EPK to be mysterious. I don't want it, I just don't care about Michelangelo, don't care about your dog, don't care about your pizza. So let's get off the topic of pizza and flowers. I care about your information, okay? I care that you know who you are, you know where you want to go, and you know what you want to do. That's what I care about. What I'm gonna do here is so yeah, I guess I'm just fading into the, okay, so is that a break in 5 minutes? Okay. So you guys get to take a break from my voice in 5 minutes. It's not that bad, is it? All right, streaming sites, stay organized. Again, this is like, the information is going to change, but the rules are always going to be the same. Okay, the information is going to change. I'm going to talk about different topics, but the rules stay the same. All right, so if we're playing soccer, we're playing hockey, we're playing football, we're playing basketball, we're all playing by the same rules. Okay, if we're in a jazz band, metal band, if we want to tour, if we want to play a festival, whatever content we're creating, the rules stay the same. And they're like so easy, man. Like they're so easy. You know what they are? Stay organized, right? Stay organized. Okay, so this is your digital representation. These are your streaming sites now, okay? This is where people click to listen to you, check you out. YouTube, Facebook, artist page, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify, etc. The only real content you want on your streaming pages is your music, music videos, live performances, contact information, small bio, small biography, right? See, you get that?
Yeah.
Small bio, small biography, haha.
Yeah.
Small word. Never mind, okay, I'm funny. All right, and link to your website, okay? On YouTube, create and title playlists. Oh, I'm gonna give you some really, really important information. People pay me to give them this information. And I'm telling you right now, Organize your YouTube. Create playlists. All right? Do it. When you get home, do it. Like, here's my album, here's my live performances, here's my interviews, here's me and my dog, here's me and my mom. You know, these are all separate playlists, okay? It makes life easy. What are we doing when we're doing business with people? We're making their life easy, right? So having playlists is, now, this doesn't mean you're gonna get a record deal, okay? Nothing I'm telling you means, oh, if you do all these things, you're gonna win $1 million. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay, it just means that you have tools now to better equip yourself amongst all the other flowers, amongst all the other pizzas. Is now I'm giving you the hot sauce, all right? Yeah, so on YouTube is a vast domain. It's a vast place. Create playlists. Why? Because it makes life easy. Okay, it makes life easy for the people that are booking. And title those playlists. You know, like, don't just have it random. Don't be artistic. Again, another place. Like, live videos. Live in New York. Live in Taipei. You know, title them. So I know what I'm going to be looking at when I open that folder. All right? Minimize your content. Again, reduce. It means take away all the things you don't need to say. If it's not going to get you something, you don't need to put it in there. You know, think of the logic like that. If it's not going to get you something, it probably doesn't need to be in there. Okay? Keep the music professional focused on what you want them to see. So all of your marketing materials, I'm telling you, keep it focused on what you want people to see. How you want the business person to understand you. This is your opportunity to design yourself in a certain way that helps people understand you the way you want them to. Because if you believe that if you go to the United States or if you go to Japan, that you'll get famous, then you want to design your electronic press kit. You want to design your materials in order to be in those places. Okay? So the way that people see you is very important for the way that you do business. And I don't mean the way they see you, but the way that they understand you. Okay? The way that business people understand you is going to dictate if they're going to do business with you. Okay? And with that, let's take a break.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
好，我们现在休息15分钟，我们4点回来，然后再进行第2个阶段的工作坊。谢谢。
Thank you, Brian. Big round of applause for Brian. So how's everybody doing? Everyone still awake?
Yeah.
God, lectures are so boring. All right. Where's the rock and roll? All right, so we're going to go over some websites from around the world. Okay, so I'm going to show you websites of bands from India, Canada, United States, Europe, and we're just going to scan them and look at stuff. And then afterwards, we're going to look at your guys' biographies and the stuff that you guys submitted. And we're going to read it, we're going to go over it, we're going to talk about it, and then at the end, we're all going to go eat hot pot. No, just kidding. We're all we'll do questions and answers. Okay, so everyone will have the chance to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, so how's my stand-up doing so far? I'm just okay. Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, so this is the first band we're going to look at. Now, This is a band that is managed by the company I work with in India. The company is called Wonderwall Media. That's the media company I work for in India. So they're a massive festival production company. They also make TV content. So they make music television. They also make lifestyle. Actually, I brought my wife to India and I put her on a fashion show. She hated it. So, sorry, that's part of the gig, honey. So what we're gonna do is, when I get a chance, we're gonna. It's not working, but I'm just gonna talk to you about this band from India for a little bit, okay? So, they're like a huge band. This is a big band, and I'm like size-wise, they're like 15 members. It's interchangeable. Sometimes they have on stage like 20 guys, and they can go down to the size of 6, okay? But the thing is like this. You have something very powerful, all right? And that is that you have Mandarin, you have Chinese, okay? Like these guys, their power is that they have Hindi, okay? They have Hindi, Malayalam, they have different types of Indian language. They also have English, okay? So don't ever think that your Mandarin, if you're singing Mandarin, is going to stop you from anything, because it's not. Because I'm going to tell you that there's Chinese-speaking people all over the world, just in case you didn't know. But anyways, so the thing is like, there's huge populations of Chinese-speaking people in Canada, in the United States, in Europe. These are things I want you to think about, okay? If you're singing predominantly in Mandarin, if you are singing in Mandarin, I want you to think about contacting people in cultural centers. I want you to think about contacting people in the Chinese community. Because one thing that's very powerful about the Chinese language and culture as well is that if you go to any major city in the world, they all have one thing in common. Chinatown. That's right. I don't know who said that, but that's absolutely correct. You can go to the middle, you can go to Canada, you can go to Sweden, you can go to Portugal, you can anywhere. Every city in the world is going to have a Chinatown. What does that mean? It just means that there's people that are going to speak Chinese there. So if you're singing in Chinese and you're like, well, man, like, you know, this stuff ain't working out with China, so, you know, what should I do? You know, should I try to go into Singapore or whatever? I'm trying to tell you that don't limit yourself to the popular marketplace, okay? The internet is the popular marketplace. The world is not. The world is yours to explore. The world is yours to travel and to see things and to experience cultures and to experience people. Remember, the most powerful thing you're ever going to have in your life is the people that you're connected to, okay? That's the truth. So, travel and make cool videos. Okay, so we're going to look at Thakadam Bridge here, okay? So, this is a band that sings in 5 different languages. Now, is it okay if because I got to look at it too. Okay, so we see the front page here, and it's very clear what's going on. So we have the home, profiles, music videos. They have their media kit up here as well, okay? They have their tour dates, latest updates, and contact.
Yeah.
Right? So when the aliens come, we say first contact. Contact is so important. Again, it's just one of those things you have to have everywhere, on everything you have. Contact information. Okay, so let's explore the page. Or do you want to use the other laptop? So we're having technical difficulties, but you know, that's just part of life.
Right.
And I'll give you some advice as well. If it's just like playing music, right? Like you can't stop in the middle of the song. You can't. Like, you can't be like, oh, sorry guys, my string broke, you know, or, oh, you know, my leg hurts. I need to take a break for 2 minutes. Like, you just you gotta get through it, right? And that's the same thing with, you know, everything you're doing in your career. You just gotta swim through these things. Here, can we, oh, there we are. Isn't that neat? Okay. Let's just explore the website, okay? So let's just see what this is about, because that's all we're gonna do. We're just gonna take in information. I'm not gonna talk about this is right, blah, blah. I'm not gonna talk a lot. I just want you to see this stuff and just experience it, all right? So again, this is a band that's done quite well for themselves. They play massive shows in India itself, of course, but they've done, I booked them last year at the world's biggest festival called Summerfest, the one I mentioned before in Milwaukee. They were the first band in the 51 years of the festival history to ever come from India to play that festival. So it was monumental, and what they did is that they talked to some people they knew in the United States and Canada based on their culture, the Indian culture, and they toured throughout Canada and the United States. They did Summerfest, and then they did like 20, 25 dates or something like that across North America. So again, like, use whatever you can, right? Use whatever you can. If your culture gives you an advantage, use it. If your language gives you an advantage, use it. If you're friends, if you're family, whatever advantage you have, use it, okay? I'm just gonna maximize this page and hope it doesn't blow up. All right. Okay, so what we're looking at here is, again, I'm not gonna talk a lot about it. We're just gonna go through it. So you're gonna see this is the band, right? You're introduced to the main guys, the main characters of our story. Very important, I'm gonna tell you this right now, okay? Your business is your story, okay? You gotta remember that. Everything you're doing, who you talk to, where you travel, your website, remember, like information, simple information, it becomes something known to somebody else. It means something to somebody. It tells somebody a story. Your business is your story, okay? So you're creating a story. Like you being here today is part of your story, right? When you go on what you did last week, the last song you wrote, the reason why you picked up a guitar, the reason why you started singing, it's part of your story. So then we see the management, and there's their socials, okay? Now we have their story, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Okay, profiles, and I see there's drop-down menu here as well. Okay, so here's their popular videos. That's important too, right? So our website, we want to showcase, we want people to see what we want to show them. So what matters to us? What do we think is the best about us, right? What is the best about you that you're going to present, right? Like when you're trying to sell your pizza, what is it about your pizza that I'm going to buy it, right? Just keep that in mind. Not pizza, but what's important to you. Okay. Okay, so that's where we see the media kit here. So the thing is, like, I'm not seeing this on my screen. I'm kind of... All right. It's a little bit complicated. So this is very useful, okay? So this is very, very useful. What we have here is on their website is that you can actually download their EPK on the website. You can also download their information, right? And it's funny enough, I didn't know this, they didn't know this. My wife pointed it out. She's like, their symbol means horse in Chinese. But they didn't know that. When I told them, I'm like, hey guys, like, did you do that on purpose? Like, they're like, do what? I'm like, your symbol. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, my wife says it means horse in Chinese. They're like, what? Yeah, so interesting, right? But see, it's interesting. It's something to talk about. Did you see that? I just talked about the band, it became relevant. So what do you have that's relevant? Interesting things. What's interesting about you? See? That was something I just started talking about. Because it's interesting. Simple. Maybe even blind. Like you could just bypass that in a second. But it became something that we talked about. So really useful. It's really useful to have this stuff. Now you don't have to do this, but again, you're just gaining ideas, right? And COVID-19. All right. Okay. Come back here, cursor, on the screen. So we have a traveling cursor. It goes from this screen to my screen. Isn't that weird? Okay. All right, so the next band we're going to look at is a Canadian band. Wow, this is working now. Wow, it's magic. Okay. Oh, it's not working. Never mind. Okay, where am I? Does anyone see the cursor?
Yep. On the top.
Oh, yeah, I got it now, okay. Okay, so, yeah, actually, would you mind helping me with this? Just move it around while I talk about it. Okay, so, what do you notice? Like, that's a pretty stunning image, right? Like, our attention is right there. What are we seeing? Oh, look, a new album. Tour, about. So what is about? Can we click on about? It's the third. So yeah, over to the left. Yeah, right there, yeah. Double click. Double click. Triple click. Click, 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 click. Okay. All right, so this is their biography. Like, it's just neat. It's organized. So I organized this website for them. Okay, I did this. So I didn't do it. I just told them what to do. Okay, so they hired somebody. I said, I want things itemized like this, like this, like this, like this. Okay? So if you look at this, you're going to see the home. You're going to see their touring, about. Their EPK is there. Okay, so their electronic press kit is on their website. Again, don't have to do it, but it's very useful. Okay, because all of a sudden, instead of all this material that you'd have to send item by item by item, now you're just sending a link. And you say, hey, check out our website, all of our information's there. Because what you're gonna find too, see beside the EPK, you have the stage plot and you have the tech writer. Okay? Those are things you're gonna need for gigging. Now, we're not talking about that much today. We're not talking about live performance. But having a stage plot and a tech writer is very important in your stage show. Their merchandise, and that's their store, and then the subscribe. So click on that. Nope. Yep. Oh, again, contact. So here we go. So yeah, so they want your email address. Why do they want your email address? Database. You want your own database as well, okay? You want a database because anything you do, you can advertise to all the people in your database. Like, as a conference coordinator, a database is very important to me. So I collect bands. I have databases, like, full of bands. Thousands. I have thousands of bands in my database where I can just pull information. You want that as well. And one click, I can send them all an email, right? Or a majority or something, I can't remember. But you want that database, okay? You want to collect information. And that's to have a store. Okay, so that's the websites. Okay, here's a band from Germany. Well, it's still on this, but we're on a different page. So we're just gonna look at another band now. So that band, the first band was from India, second band was from Canada, and we're gonna look at a band from Germany here, okay? Oh look, You Are a Flower. How weird is that? That is weird, because I did not do that on purpose. Okay. All right. So what are we looking at here? This is very colorful. Okay, so scroll down. And look, the video's embedded, so the video is just automatically playing. It's interesting, right? Like, it's interesting. So colorful, it's interesting. I can't even remember the name of the band. I'm just looking at it. It's so pretty, you know. Gotta keep scrolling. So, here's an initiative, okay? This band is attacking your senses. That's what they're doing, okay? They're attacking your senses. They're like, look how colorful we are. Look how bright we are. Like, you're scrolling because it's just like, boom, it's in your face, okay? And then what happens when you're scrolling? Boom, initiative. This is what we're doing. We're releasing 12 songs in 12 months. What? Right? They caught us. They caught us. They caught us. They caught us by attacking our senses. They caught us by attacking our visual sense. And then the information was processed, okay? So it's just, again, these websites are different, but I just want you to take the information in. You know, observe what you're looking at. Think how it can work for you. And the last one is a Swedish pop band. They actually played at the Golden Melody Awards in 2018. They're called the Magnettes. And they were I believe they're one of the first international acts to actually perform at the Golden Melody Awards. So I've worked with them. I've booked them in Canada before. I've worked with them in a couple different countries. This is an act that showcases all over the world. They showcase like crazy, like everywhere. Because to them, it's building a network as well. They're just constantly playing these showcases to meet people, meet business people, to gain opportunity. So immediately when we hit this page, we're not seeing pictures of girls. We're reading. Why are they doing that? I don't know. But this is what they're doing. Now, remember what I said about it's your website. Do whatever you feel like. Okay? Okay, so they have embedded videos as well. Now, the internet's a little bit slow here, but. So look at that, boom. Like I can just spend all day. You know, I just sit here all day long, listen to Magnettes, okay? Okay, so COVID, thank you, bye. Okay, so that wasn't even the main page, sorry, that was the biography. And music. So yeah, let's just talk about it, who cares? Music, videos, tour, biography, photos, then written about the Magnettes. That means they're press. Okay, so they have a section on their website where you're going to be able to look at all their press that they've gotten. Okay, so again, they're giving you information that they want you to see. And then they have a club. They have a thing called the Sad Girls Club. So it's like a club. What can I say? It's like a membership, right? So like you're gonna join the Sad Girls Club. You know, get your discounts, whatever. But that's the way they're trying to entice you so that they can get your information, so that they can sell you products. Okay, that's enough of that. So I hope that you can just see the diversity. So we went from India, Canada, Germany, and Sweden, but the themes, remember, the rules are the same, right? It's about information, it's about pictures, it's about art, it's about making it interesting. What's special about you? What makes you unique? And that's what you have to work on with your website, all right? Your website has to be your place, your domain. That's what makes you special. That's what you're telling the world why, how you're special. Okay, now this is the last page. What are we doing for time? How much time do we have? Okay. All right, so I'm going to go over with you some stuff here that I mentioned earlier, okay? Sorry about the lag here, but it's just that we're a little bit having a little bit of technical difficulty. So please stay awake. Stay with me. All right. Okay, so what we have here is, I'm going to talk about a video EPK. So it's electronic press kit, which can be called like a VPK, a video press kit. But what it is, it's going to be a visual and audio presentation of a press kit. And I suggest, that doesn't mean don't have an EPK and have a video EPK. What I'm saying is have both. Because it can just sit on the internet as information. So when someone comes across your page on your YouTube channel, it's so good to have information, okay? So if you make these kind of video content, you can put them in a playlist of saying like, you know, our story or interesting things about us. You know, like you can have a playlist that has, you know, maybe you like to bake cookies, maybe you like to, you know, maybe you like to fix cars, maybe you like to fly kites, I don't know. But the thing is that it's part of who you are. So that's not what you're showcasing, but it can be a part of the information, all right? It's just something about you. Now the thing is, the video APK can have its own playlist as well. But are we good for that?
Organic Games are a 5-piece rock band based out of Western Canada. And we started playing in backyards and pubs and little clubs like that. We didn't know what we had at the time. When I pulled up the bagpipes, people started just going nuts, crazy. The energy level just went absolutely out of this world. And that led us to writing the song Here We Go. We were super surprised, and when the Saskatchewan Rough Riders of the Canadian Football League took that song and used it as their run out on the field song. And at that moment, we knew right there we had something special.
Notice the information, right? He's just constantly hitting you with information. Tidbit, 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 tidbit. Success, this is what we did, this is what we did, this is who we are. It's interesting. What makes them interesting? Right there.
It's all about our live show, and it's all about what we do. It's all about how it comes across and the energy that we portray on stages and what we do with the people, how we interact with the people. It's all about the live show.
So again, they're showing international here, right? Show Las Vegas, talking about Sweden, looking at places that, now we're looking at the Whiskey a Go-Go, these kind of things, okay? Then it's little, they're just giving blurbs of certain things. So again, this isn't saying, hey, you must do this, but this is just saying, take what you want from it, right? If you find anything valuable in this, take it.
We really recognize what we have have to offer and the uniqueness of it all. We've been able to perform in Sweden, in Japan, in the US, across Canada, and Mexico. And it's been a great time for us.
And they're showing you that they have an album coming out, right? So again, this isn't about, and then see, so it has all of this information. It's just information, information, information. We can tell they're a rock band. We can tell what makes them unique, right? The visual makes these guys unique. The guy plays bagpipes, weird, right? And then it's basically like you're making a commercial. So be creative is what I'm saying. You're in a creative industry, be creative with your materials. Again, don't be creative in how you make your materials. Okay, so like if you do your EPK, don't, like I said, don't paint pictures, don't talk about your dog, you know, any of that stuff. Be specific. But you can be creative with the materials that you use. I mean, you can think of all kinds. Be creative of how you want to market yourself, how you want people to understand you, right? Take that information, take those basic things like bullet points, like how you make a biography, and create content that's going to interest people, right? Okay, so live performance. This is super, super important. Like I said to you guys before, a lot of bookers, a lot of the big bookers in the world, is that they're going to go straight to your, you're going to send them an EPK, and they're going to not care about anything, and they're going to look for your YouTube. And they're going to look for your YouTube, and then when they go on your YouTube, they're going to say, they're not going to say to you, but they're going to look for your live videos. And you know what? Lots of times if they can't find your live videos, they'll just move on to the next band. That's the truth. So if you've ever tried to get a booking before and like you haven't heard back from the guy or the girl, or if you haven't heard back from the person, it's usually because you made it too difficult for them to go through your information. So I'm just going to show a little bit of this live video. Because this is important as well. So these guys, I'm not going to play all of it here, but I'm just going to play a little bit of it. Remember what I said. Your live videos are so important. So what these guys did, they have a camera crew that went into the Whiskey A Go-Go in LA, and they had this professionally mixed, okay, with video as well. So this is crazy important, what I'm trying to tell you. Live video that looks like this is very attractive to a booker, okay? For an agent, for a management company, for people that are gonna work with you, you're trying to get them to work with you, this kind of visual presentation is really, really important because it's showing that you care about your product, it's showing that you're playing somewhere cool, it's entertaining to watch, and it's a live performance. Live performance is, again, your strongest thing in the world. You can have the best EPK in the world, the best biography. If you don't have a live performance, forget it. Okay. Okay. All right, now what we're going to do, we're going to head to, can we start the examples now? Case studies? Okay, right on. All right, so this is the time now that you've all been waiting for. This is where I look at your stuff, and Brian will look at your stuff too, yeah? And this is where we make fun of you. No, I'm just kidding. This is not where we make fun of you. But this is where we talk about, hey, like, let's get it together, right? I wish I could turn. I think I can. I think I can. Oh, I'm somewhere. Perseverance. Perseverance. Right. Okay, so we're gonna look at the EBK I like the most out of the group that we were sent first. How about that? So we're gonna start off on a real positive high note here, okay? As soon as I get my cursor back. Oh, okay, so now what we're gonna do is you guys are gonna ask questions. So,
我们现在 Q&A 时间呢，那可能大概20-30分钟。那如果大家有任何问题，可以举手发问。边讲中文没关系。
All right. See, we all need help, right?
大家有没有问题呢？如果有的话，可以举手发问。大家问要问我也可以啦，但是主要问 Evan 的。好，对。
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you very much for today. I'm Dee, and I have two questions. And the first one is that you mentioned that we should make our EPKs more focused to our target countries or areas, such as for US or for Japan. And could you talk more about this? Like, other than the information we're giving, is there any preference, like for the US people or for the Japanese or even for the other countries? And the second question is that because you've been working with so many people from different cultures around the world, and could you give us, as Taiwanese bands and artists, that some advice on promoting ourselves, especially to Western countries? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Those are good questions. So to tell you quite simply is that I can't really be specific about how you're going to market in the United States. That's going to be up to you, okay? If you want to talk about, that the United States music market has really influenced you, or if you want to talk about how you would like artists in the United States, or it's a dream of yours to be in the United States, we're just talking about the United States right now. But the thing is why I'm saying direct yourself into countries, because you already know, right? Like, you're going to say to yourself, you're not going to make an EPK and make it about the United States, even though you're like, yeah, I might want to go there. No, you make the EPK about the United States because you do want to go there, right? So this is all preconditioned stuff you're doing. You have the first thought, like, hey, we could bring our band to the United States. You're thinking that before you create the EPK. So the EPK is just basically the information that you're going to make United States centric. Maybe it's because of influences. Maybe it's because you believe the band's going to get famous there, or it has a better chance at getting famous there. Maybe it's because you know other people who got successful there. But you can use examples, but it's really up to you what content you're going to put that's going to make it United States centric. Does that make sense? Now, I'll explore that a little bit more in case you're kind of still grabbing onto that. I can't, if you're going to go into Japan, I wouldn't say, hey, we'll talk about samurais and ninjas. I wouldn't, don't do that. But why do you want to go in Japan? So ask yourself these questions, right? So just like when you're writing anything, who, why, what, when, where, how, right? The five or four W's they call it for writers. You ask yourself the questions why you want to be in the United States. Because again, you're going to have that inkling, you're going to be thinking that before you ever make the EPK. So the thing is, there's reasons already why you want to be in a different country. So let the business people know why you want to do business with them. Does that make sense? Okay. Say yes. Okay. Does that make sense to all of you about her question? Because that's a pretty big animal to fight, right? Like you're saying like, well, tell us how to direct it. And I'm saying to you, you know why you want to be in a marketplace, or you should know at least, like besides, like, oh, I want to go to the United States because there's cool beaches and I want to ride the roller coaster and eat a hot dog. No, you want to go to the United States because of some business reasons, right? And the thing is that you can articulate that, you can present that in your EPK, why you want to go there, the reason behind it. And sorry, the second question was?
Suggestions for different cultures.
Oh, suggestions for different countries for Taiwanese artists.
Yeah, from your aspects.
Okay. So here's the thing you're tackling, okay? So this is what we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about language. And it's a very important thing to talk about because it's an honest thing to talk about. And we have to have this conversation, okay? We have to be honest with ourselves that if we're singing in Mandarin, it's probably going to be weird if we go and want to get famous in Brazil, okay? For obvious reasons. It's going to be weird if we want to go and get famous in Iceland, right? But the thing is that there are communities around the world that speak Mandarin. So it's up to us as individuals to do that research. It's up to us as people to talk to other people in our networks. Remember, people in our life are valuable to us. They're valuable to us because they have information, because they have experiences. And then we talk to people about doing those things. So Taiwan is open to the world. And I'm really trying to push Taiwan into India right now. And it's very hard because there's a big cultural difference, right? But the thing is that there's such a massive online audience in India that you're not going to be able to get from China because China just simply doesn't use YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. India does. And the thing is like this, I'm going to tell you right now, you should not care at all who your internet audience is, okay? So if you get 1 million followers from Iceland, that's probably like the whole population. if you get 1 million followers from India, if you get 1 million followers from South America, I don't care. It doesn't matter. There's two realities now. There's real life reality, which is flesh and bone, right?
Yeah.
And there's reality on the internet. But why are you going to discriminate who your internet audience is? Because I'm telling you where the money is now is on the internet. So your ROI, your return of investment, okay? You want to challenge the internet for your return of investment. And maybe that's collaborating with people that have big numbers. But make sure those big numbers are real numbers. Very, very, very important, okay? And the way you know if they're real numbers usually is by that the videos are monetized, which means the advertisements pop up. Because they won't be able to advertise like that, they won't be able to monetize like that if they have farm clicks, okay? So you want an organic audience, that means real people just like me and you, and you don't care where they're from. I cannot express this enough. Who cares where they're from? As long as they're interested in you, that's how you make money.
Yes.
Yeah, money! Okay,
还有其他朋友有问题吗？可以问 Aaron， 或是问我都可以，中文也可以，英文也可以。关于怎么写 ，OK。
Okay. I think think you've worked with Korean music industry too. So can you touch on a little bit on how Korea? I'm sure when they first started exploring international market, they must have bumped into a language barrier, that kind of thing. So yeah, could you elaborate, share your insights on it?
Yeah, so I think that's very worthy, kind of following up on your question there. Let's face it. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the Korean industry for a little bit, okay? Because it's kind of interesting. Number one is that what the Korean industry did was kind of take a model that was created by the Western world, right? So we have like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, we have Hollywood, we have, you know, the Dick Clark special, the New Year's party, we have award shows, we have these things. And what the Koreans did, the government got involved with massive amounts of money and basically bought the old empire, let's say. And then injected it so strong, it was like it was like in 2010, I think it was. There's a New Year's special. It's called the Dick Clark New Year's show. It's like something that's very famous from like the 50s, you know, a long time ago all the way up, right? I'm sitting there watching it. This is like the most watched show in the world because this is where the apple falls at midnight in New York. It used to be a very, very famous show. This is the show where like Michael Jackson performs. This is where like, you know, the biggest artist in the world will perform. Who's on the Dick Clark special at 2010? K-pop band. I was like, what? I'm like, what is this? Right? So how did they get on there? You know, I'll tell you right now, they didn't get on there by saying please. You know, oh, can we please play on this show? No, someone had a lot of money. Someone had a lot of money and said, put this band there. Okay, so let me tell you something, that the music business is a business, all right? And it takes a lot of money to do things. It takes a lot of money. And the Korean industry is a very good example of how I think that with government involvement, they basically bought an entire industry. Because the next year, I see at the like South American Music Awards, who wins? K-pop band. What? South American Music Awards. How did that happen? You know? So this started happening, and I'm telling you, I don't know, because like that's government stuff, but I'm pretty sure someone paid a lot of money for those things to happen. And when those things happen, guess what? It creates a story. So people start talking like, oh, the Dick Clark special, the United States, South American Music Awards. This, now it's global. Now everyone's like, who are these guys? Where did they come from? You know? And the other thing is, like, let's not confuse ourselves. Like, a band like BTS, even though they do sing in Korean, they also sing a lot of English, right? So they sing a lot of English. But this government initiative was to sell not only music, but now it's selling Korean culture. So like, you know, like eating Korean food is like stylish. Going to a Korean barbecue and like dressing like a Korean person is like something people do now. Right? Like we were in Chiayi. No, we weren't. It wasn't Chiayi. We were in Ilan or somewhere like that. And there's a Korean barbecue place there. I love Korean barbecue. I love it. Every time I go to Korea, I eat Korean barbecue. I love it. So we go into this place and like you can actually pay to dress like Korean school people, right? Like you rent costumes, and it's because it's entered people's minds, right? It's fantastic. So yeah, so sort of run on about it, but they bought the industry, they injected into the industry, it's popular. So the thing is, we have an expression in the music industry, it's called, now don't say this to your mom, but it's called eat shit, okay? So like the thing is, like a band like Nickelback, okay? Nickelback got put on the radio like everywhere. Everywhere. You couldn't be in a mall, you couldn't be in a car, you couldn't be anywhere in Canada without hearing Nickelback. Like you couldn't escape it. Like, oh my God, you know? And that's what they did with K-pop. You could not escape it. Like it doesn't matter what country you're in. It doesn't matter where you are. You know about K-pop. That's not an accident.
Hi, thank you I'm Polly. I think I forgot to introduce myself and ask questions during the break. I just would like to ask another question when you mentioned how you try to push Thai music into India market at the moment, and it found you pretty hard. And it's just from that, I would like to ask that from your past work experience, across the world, did you find, how did you overcome the cultural barrier? Just like you said, you found so far quite hard to put Taiwan music into Indian music, just like you introduce Indian band to Canada or US. So how did you break this cultural barrier? Would you mind to describe it more?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. So basically, like, just to kind of go over what she was saying is like, you know, how does it work with music and culture with bands going into different marketplaces, and how was it that I got an Indian band in the United States, and how did that work out? Again, the thing is that the Indian band had a huge platform where they started off their tour, the biggest festival in the world. So they have a huge following, and again, they sing in 5 languages, but one of those languages is English. So the thing is, because, I'm going to tell you another thing about the music industry, here's another secret, okay? Who you know is where you can go, all right? Who you know is where you can go. This business is about relationships. So you build relationships with people that can open doors for you. It puts you in a much powerful position, okay? So the thing is, the team came to me, these guys treat me like a prince when I'm in India. They treat me very well. I love these guys, they're my family, okay? So when they came in, yeah, we want to go and do these things, we want to do this stuff. What do you think I did? I hustled, man. I got a hold of my buddy, I flew him to Canada, I was like, you know, let's drink lots of beer, let's hang out. And I was like, hey, I want you to book this band, please book this band for me. And he's like, all right. You know, so the thing is like, use what you got, man. You know, like, this is you against the world, right? Like, this is you against the whole world. Use what you got. But you got to equip yourself properly. Now, the reason why I'm having trouble with the Taiwan India thing is simple. It's not that India doesn't want Taiwanese artists. It's just that a lot of people don't understand India. So when I talk to them about entering the Indian marketplace, they're like, well, why do I want to do that? You know, why would I want to do that? Why do I want to go to India? Like, I'm not Indian. I don't speak Hindi, or, you know, I don't know about it. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. The internet doesn't care. When you're on the internet and you're traveling on the internet, you don't have a race, you don't have a language, you don't even have a body. You're just a browser, you're just browsing. So why do you care who's behind the screen clicking on you? Why do you care where they're from? Stop caring about that, okay? Stop it. You want all the real people you can gain in the entire world, because they're worth money to you, okay? Make sense?
大概还有1-2个问题的时间，还有哪一位想要发言吗？
Hey, thank you, Adam, for such an inspiring workshop. And I have 2 questions. The first one is that when you're going through all the EPKs, all the 1,000 bands, is there any key criteria or key factors that you decide that you're gonna book this band over another? Is it the popularity? Is it the music itself? Is it the cultural representation? That's my first question. And my second question is that for local artists who without international connections or network, is there any channels or resource they could utilize to get in hold with peoples elsewhere?
Yeah, so, okay, so let's tackle the second question first, okay? Because I think it's important for everybody. I can't even remember what he said. Just kidding. Okay, so the channels was the first question, and the second question was about No, the first question is about what I like, why I like it. The second one is the channels. Okay, there are channels. So Europe developed a channel called Gigmint. Okay, so when you look at the internet, it's, and Marcus, you owe me, okay? Gigmit, okay? Yeah, everyone's on their cell phones, all right. It's a different world now. All right, so Gigmint, what it is, it's a platform. It's a booking platform. So yes, these things exist, okay? So there was like Sonic Bids. There was, there's lots. There's like a Reverb Nation even, right? Reverb Nation is an American one where you can pay or like you, oh, and you owe me too, Lou. So Reverb Nation where you can like, you know, pay for spots or like enter to, to get gigs. But Gigmint is an actual booking platform. So if you're interested in the European marketplace, you can actually start a profile on Gigmint, okay? So you can start a profile on Gigmint and then you can, basically it's like your profile is your EPK and then they'll have all of these things. So like showcases, there's like over 30 showcases in Europe. There's different agencies, there's different stuff on there. You just click the button and it sends it to it. But it's a paid service, okay? So that's the truth too. Now, these things are just what happened in the world out of necessity, right? Because people are looking for opportunity. But this is why you go to showcase conferences, okay? So I have a blog on indiegaga.com. That's a subsidiary company of Wonderwall Media. So the company I work for in India, they have a subsidiary company. That's like, Wonderwall Media is an umbrella company, a big company that has companies underneath it, okay? Indiegaga.com, I have a blog, and it's all about showcasing. So showcasing is super important for networking. Because when you network, you're meeting people that know other people in different countries, okay? Now, not everything is free. Let's get that straight, all right? Like, let's just get real honest here. Is that you're trying to make money in a business world, okay? The music business. That doesn't mean you can just make money because you want to. Like, you gotta put in, right? If you want to take out, you got to put in. So the thing is, like, when bands want to work with me, they put me on what's called a retainer. Okay, so I'll get a 3-month retainer. Now, I have different deals with different people, but the thing is that they pay me to work for them. So they pay me to give them advice. They pay me to help them gain traction in other countries. They pay me for good relationships, okay? That's part of my job because I introduce people to other people. Now to answer the first question of like what I'm looking for, what I look for is I just look for what I like, okay? So the information, I'm telling you how to present it, it's just because it's easy. It's easy for people to understand it. So if it's easy to understand, then you have a better chance of them liking it. So maybe I'll go across a band and like their website's really colorful and I'll be like, wow, that's so cool. Like I booked Capitano. Capitano came from Germany to my conference in Newfoundland. They hooked up with a Grammy-winning producer at that place and they also got booked in the biggest festival in the world at that place. And they got their manager at that place. So 3 things happened for that band that came to the middle of nowhere in Newfoundland where I have my conference. Okay, so you go to conferences, you meet people. Do your research. Do your research on who is there, right? And do the background check on them too. Ask other people what they think of them, right? Just do your homework, right? This is your business, care about it.
我们再开放最后一个问题，还有人有想要发言吗？没有，要吃晚餐了。哦，还有一个，好，最后一个。
Just being curious, since now you have very solid knowledge of the Taiwan's music industry, for budding Taiwanese artists, if he or she wants to step into international market, what would be the first stop you recommend in the physical world?
Well, there are 2 conferences here in Taiwan. that I know of. One is Luckfest in the South. And that's a showcase, that's an international showcase conference. So the people that run that, they have a great social network around the world. You know, so that's a really powerful tool for Taiwan artists to use. And the second one would be the Golden Melody Awards. The Golden Melody Awards actually has a showcase as well. So even if you're not performing in it, you should be going to it because you want to meet people, right? You want to meet people and talk about how cool you are. You know, you want to talk about how cool they are. You want to talk about what it'd be like to be having drinks in New York. You know, like you want to talk to people. You want to build friendships. You want to build a network. So Golden Melody Awards, 100%. It's one of the most prestigious events in the entire world, first of all. Like, you know, I've been to showcases all over the world. The Golden Melody Awards is probably the absolute pinnacle of prestige. It's, you know, I mean, that is an amazing showcase. And then you have Luckfest, which is in the South in Tainan. So, you know, and then the people that go there, the people that go to these things, talk to them too. Maybe you can't make it. You know, maybe your dog gets sick, or maybe your cat gets run over, and maybe your car crashes. I don't know what the excuse is, but maybe you don't make it then. So, talk to people that were there. Talk to your friends that met other people, right? This is a people business. Talk to people. Open your mind to possibilities. Imagine.
我们的工作坊到这边结束哦，那谢谢大家今天的参与。那在离开之前，请大家大概花个1分钟时间帮我们填写一下那个回馈的表单这样子。那在离场之前，跟大家大概宣传一下，我们台湾 Beats 在下个月11月11号的时候，还会有一个我们讲说成果发表会，其实就是把我们历年哦在国际的产业、国际市场就是推广台湾流行音乐的经验，跟大家分享，就包括我们的策略、我们的一些观察，或者我们所提出的一些问题哦。所以如果大家对于，比方说大家想知道要去一开始要出国发展，要去哪里？或者是我们应该用什么样的策略，应该要怎么样去联络媒体，或者是我们应该要怎么样准备好自己，才能去国际音乐市场发展的话，我相信这个活动应该对大家蛮有帮助的。谢谢大家。那最后我们拍一个大合照嘛。